Safe Moon Part 2, not so safe. Well, a couple years ago when the pandemic hit, you could have invested $1,500 into Dogecoin, and when Dogecoin got up to say uh, 50 cent or something, I mean, you would have had over $1 million. And if you would have bought Safe Moon when it first started, you'd have been up something like 55,000% or something ridiculous. But yeah, this was the price, I guess, before the news. And then it took a big old doo-doo. Took a big old dump. Took a big old shit. Well, we didn't have much. I want to say maybe we had 300 million. And just the off chance that this thing maybe comes a dollar one day, it could have been 300 million. It was a very small bet. Everyone wanted to have a shit coin, and this was my shit coin. And unfortunately, the shit coin I picked was not the winner. The shit coin I picked was in the shitter. It's time to move to Dollar Moon. Oh my gosh. Time to buy the dip, I guess. The guy that does pizzas, Dave Portney or something, Barstool Sports or something. I know he had invested $50,000. Um, oh, I thought he put I thought he put 40K. I thought he put 50K and he put 40K. Uh, well, he had, what's that? Is that almost 5 million shares? I think I had 300 million shares. Maybe that can't be right. Maybe it is. I don't know. I just know me and my buddy had 300 million shares. That can't be right. And we only put like 1 or 2 thousand in, I think. If he put 40,000, and he has to have more shares than that. But hey, at least I'm not the only loser. There are other losers like me. The article actually is kind of funny, a little bit, not really funny, but they withdrew more than 200 million from the project. This guy, I think, is still at large. Two of the other guys have been arrested. But yeah, if you got in and it went up 55,000% from March to April and reached a market cap of 5.7 billion. I even saw that it was at 8 billion one time. Yeah, two of the guys I know have been arrested. But the head guy, I think, is still at large. I saw one guy had bought like $860,000 Porsche or something. If convicted, they can face 25 years. I don't want to see that shit. Why is it showing me that shit? Why couldn't I have seen this 6 hours ago? Could have maybe saved our $100 or whatever it's worth now. Our 300 million shares was probably worth $100 now. Now it's probably worth a couple pennies. So yeah, this is 8 billion. Conspiring to commit securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. But yeah, it said they had like bought houses and fancy cars and travel, and my money probably went to cocaine and hookers. They had minted 1 quadrillion tokens. But they were supposed to burn every transaction. They were supposed to burn, I don't know, 10% or something. And then a portion of that that was supposed to be burned was shared with the other investors. So as the supply dwindles, in theory, you should, supply and demand. As time goes on, there's going to be less and less supply because every time someone buys or sells, there's a burn. I can't remember. I think it was like out of the 10% fee, I think 5% was burned and then 5% was shared with the investors. So if you just bought it and held it, in theory, the price should go up because there's fewer and fewer tokens. And plus, every time somebody buys or sells, you get a share of that buy and sell. So your shares increase over time without even doing anything, just if other people are buying or selling. And they had like, I don't know if it was totally fraud, but I remember reading one time that they were in talks with some of the countries in Africa, for example, and they were going to use. I mean, there's still places in Africa today that that you can work all day long and get $1, $1 US. In the Philippines, for example, you might get $4 to $6 a day working an 8-hour shift. But there's places in Africa and even other places in the world where you get less than $1 a day still. And they had allegedly talked to some of the governments of some of these, at least some of the African countries, and were going to use safemoon as their like currency. Bro, we did it. We did it, man. We went to jail. Bro, we did it. We're going to jail for 25 years. SafeMoon was valued at $50 million on Wednesday afternoon, losing more than half its value. There goes my 300 million, guys. That was my long bet. There's a guy on YouTube. It's called like Safe. It's called SafeMoon something. Like that was the whole. That was like the whole thing of his channel. Is like SafeMoon's going to the moon. I want to see what I paid for. I want to see the
Hi,
mansion
I'm John
I paid
Peroni,
for.
and welcome to my mansion you all paid for. Situated in Utah, a short drive from the closed SafeMoon headquarters, which I never used anyway, is my luxurious 8,000 square foot mansion, which I agreed to buy in July 2021. As you look around my enormous living room, you may wonder how the hell I bought this house a mere 4 months after joining SafeMoon. The simple answer is that I lied to you all about the liquidity pool being locked, and my hobo friend Thomas and I robbed all you investors blind. We're going to glide into the kitchen now, and while that last statement bounces around your head, you'll notice the microwave, which does the heavy lifting of my meal prep, as I am a mid-20s man-child with no life skills whatsoever. Back down the hall to the office is where I spend most of my time, sitting on Twitter and Discord, pretending to like you morons, whilst researching which non-extradition countries I can flee to that also have good internet, so I can keep playing games instead of doing any real work. The master bedroom. This is where all the magic happens. Due to mounting legal fees from suing my own mother, I find myself short on cash, even with a line of smooth brains purchasing overpriced mugs and t-shirts.
Oh my gosh, look at that
I've come up with a
bathroom.
genius idea called Operation Mongoose. For a small fee of $3,200, I'll let any SafeMoon Army member squat in the ditch outside my window and watch me sleep. Extra charge for shouting, "Good morning, future SafeMoon millionaires," at dawn. At SafeMoon, I believe we're all family, which is convenient as my actual family hate my fucking guts. But don't let that fool you into thinking you'll be invited over to make my gigantic mansion feel more homely, even though it was paid for with your money. Down the grand staircase filled with artwork more generic than any SafeMoon product, we get to the fun zone. I love liquidity pools so much, I thought it would be appropriate to purchase a pool table. As you can see from the scratches on the felt, I am as talented at pool as I am at secretly siphoning millions of dollars out of your liquidity pools. I'll get this table repaired imminently. Following me towards one of the 5 bathrooms in my mansion. Thank you all again for hero worshipping me after I stole your money, by the way. You'll notice a sign for the studio apartment. Unfinished like the blockchain, exchange, NFT marketplace, or any number of extravagant projects I've announced without any intention of delivering on over the past few years. I did think about renting the apartment out to the SafeMoon Army for the low price of $32,000. But I couldn't get a large enough supply of hydrophobic nanoparticles to help clean up the gallons of drool and jizz you thirsty losers would spill in my presence. Coming back down, you might spot a ghostly figure in the doorway. I've been told this is my conscience, which was ejected from the rest of my person. Let's head left into my gym, which sees even less use than SafeMoon on the Ethereum or Matt.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. One of them is on the run.
Everyone has different financial goals, but there are a few many of us share, and we can...
The CEO of SafeMoon, John Caroni, has been arrested. We're safely locked and could not be withdrawn by anyone. And I know that's not much of a time window for you guys. Hopefully there will be a replay if you missed out on it. 2021 and caught on with investors for giving half the...
He bought an $860,000 custom Porsche 911 sports car. Other luxury vehicles and real estate. Says Carnegie was arrested in Utah and Smith in New Hampshire. Nagy remains at large. If convicted, the defendants face up to 25 years in prison. Carnegie, Nagy, and Smith have not issued public statements on the charges.
SafeMoon what? What just happened to SafeMoon? Why is it so important, and how will this news affect the SafeMoon price? Do we need to sell our bag? Let's find out in more detail. Disclaimer. Today, a federal court in Brooklyn unveiled an indictment against Braden John Caroni, Kyle Nagy, and Thomas Smith. They are accused of being involved in a scheme to commit securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering related to a digital asset called SafeMoon issued by their company SafeMoon LLC. According to the allegations, the defendants misled SafeMoon investors about the accessibility of locked liquidity and their personal trading of SafeMoon. As SafeMoon's market capitalization exceeded $8 billion, the defendants allegedly redirected and misappropriated investors and misappropriating funds, using a custom Porsche sports car, other luxury cars, and no luxury vehicles or sprawling real estate can protect them from the consequences of gain. Although this fraud scheme dollars to line their pockets, gain. Each SafeMoon transaction incurred a 10% tax, with one SafeMoon automatically withheld as a tax, and the remaining 9 SafeMoon going to the recipient. As marketed to SafeMoon investors, the 10% tax proceeds were divided into two 5% portions. The first 5% was meant to be redistributed among all SafeMoon holders, while the remaining 5% was to be placed into personal gain. They also engaged in buying and selling SafeMoon.
Are you having trouble finding a place for your precious bundle of fur?
What's up, guys? My name is Daisy Duncan, and I'm a wife, mother of 5, trader, and investor. Let me ask you a question. Have you always
for personal profit, even at the peak of SafeMoon's market value, unregistered cryptocurrency asset securities offerings? The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has accused Richard Hart of conducting unregistered securities offerings that raised over $1 billion. In addition to Hart, the SEC has included 3 unincorporated entities in its charges: PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex. Both Hart and PulseChain are also facing charges for allegedly PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex. Both Hart and PulseChain are also facing charges for allegedly using $12 million from the offering proceeds of deposits and encouraging people to invest in Hex tokens as a means to become wealthy. The SEC is critical of a staking feature that Hart claimed would yield 38% returns and alleges that he intentionally tried to bypass securities laws by urging Hex investors by spending some of their crypto assets on exorbitant luxury goods. The misappropriation of funds outlined in the SEC's lawsuit pertains to an offering that Hart, whose real name is Richard Schuler, spent substantial amounts on luxury items, including a McLaren sports car, a Ferrari Roma, and 5 Rolex watches. A third unregistered offering, this time for PulseX, also falls under the scrutiny of the SEC with...
Well, I guess that's a different one. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys.